Radio in motion. Program loading in 3, 2, 1. Program activated.
Attention everyone, the unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake.
Okay, first things first, what is your name?
This is Big Sonny playing the best of the 90s and beyond.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Radio in motion.
Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go.
All right, ready? Here we go.
Radio in motion.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. So we're going to have another installment of The Ugly Truth, and the truth can be ugly, but it can set you free. And the truth is, the Oscars are lame now. I feel like it's literally just all the Hollywood elite in their little bubble in the Hollywood Hills, and they're just now really just pandering to each other. They're really just, look, it always was, let's be honest, a show just for themselves, which again, first of all, you know, I'm a huge movie lover, movie fan, pop culture maniac. My friends and I, we can talk movies all day long. There's movies that we have seen hundreds of times. I'm hoping to catch up with a friend of mine. We're going to do a podcast on Die Hard and probably even Lethal Weapon. We have seen those movies so many times, and both of those are just quintessential 80s movies, and they're also Christmas movies, which is just awesome. But I mean, so first of all, whenever I get, you know, stuck into Hollywood, I'm coming from a place of love and probably lament of the days when I feel like, how do I put this? They stayed in their lane and they did what they did well, which was entertain. And that is the point of any you know, kid who wants to get into theater when they're young, and for the first time you entertain someone. You know, for me, it's when I was a kid and you make a group of the adults laugh, and you know that, aha, I have them in the palm of my hand. It is all about that. It's about the experience that we experience together when you go to the movies. That's why I used to love going to the movies, not streaming. Going to the movies, and it's so exciting to experience the same level of an emotional response with complete strangers, but the movie makers, the actors, the directors, the writers, the composers, you know, this perfect piece of art and storytelling has culminated in the perfect chemical mixture, and the whole audience laughed, the whole audience cried, the whole audience gasps. So I'm telling you, whenever I get stuck in to these sort of things, it sounds like, you're just having a go at them. You're just mad because you're not cool and rich. It's not about that. Anyone who has done well in Hollywood, they've deserved that because we all paid for it. We pay, millions of dollars to go to the movies, and they get paid. There's nothing wrong with that. My point is something's been lost since the days of the innocent pursuit of telling a story, of telling a story to the masses. And by the way, everyone's a critic. Of course, everyone's a critic. Before there were critics, and they've been around for a long time, everyone is a personal critic, and you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to critique art. You're allowed to critique a song. You can like it or not like it. If you don't like it, don't go watch it. Don't watch it again. You can go around and complain about it all you want, but the fact is there are millions of people who like that piece of music or art or movie. So this is not what any of this is about. This is about they don't stay in their lane anymore. I'm going to be honest. Not every actor is a learned politician or someone who really understands the real complicated world of politics or war or the ideologies that can divide people. Because frankly, I'm not going to be mean. Once you get into the upper echelons of Hollywood, you don't live in the real world. Things are brought to you. You stay in your mansion, which, by the way, some of them, it's understandable, because once you get famous, I could imagine how scary the world becomes. I could imagine super fans like me would scare the crap out of you. So yes, you become a recluse, but again, that's the life you chose. I can't help you there. Go drive your Ferrari around and cry a little more. The point is they don't live in our world. But the funny thing is The people who live in these mansions where things are just brought to them, they don't know how much a car costs or a hot dog, $1 or $1,000. They have no concept of money because they've moved beyond that. But what they do like to do is tell you how to live your life and tell you everything you're doing wrong. And that's the part that I think is getting a bit old. And the Oscars is the absolute culmination of that. The night of nights when they all put on their $1 million designer dresses and suits, and again tell us that we need to cut costs and start eating bugs, and we need to stop being wasteful and hurting the environment, while again they live their decadent life. So yeah, that's the part I am going to have a go about. Do what you do, entertain us, we'll pay you, and then leave me alone. I don't need to hear your opinion. Oh, but Sonny, you're saying they're not allowed to have opinions? Yeah, they are, but I really don't give a shit. Of course, everyone is allowed to have an opinion, but I'll be honest. The problem is when all starts getting mixed up in the movie you're trying to produce, which is something, unfortunately, that people are going to shell out money for, pay good money to hear you preach at them. That's when it doesn't quite work. That's when you do need to make sure, and I'm not saying so many movies of the past have been able to put a message in. All movies have a message. Whether it's the writer or the director, of course there is a message. And it's just about, I feel like in the past, everything was put in there a little bit more subtly, or in a way that was more open to getting people on board, to understanding the point of view of the director of the movie. Now, movies are basically just preaching to you, you're bad and wrong, and this is the right thing. And if you're not on board with it, if you are on the other side of their current opinion or narrative, or the message, as it's often called from The Drinker, one of my favorite YouTubers, the message. They push the message. And if you're not on board with the message, well, you're wrong. Well, here's the problem, Hollywood. Unfortunately, when it comes to a mass-produced product, it's hard to be too nouveau riche, selective on your artistic little, niche market. Because what that does is, unfortunately, then you start losing money. And look, this is where they're at. In the Academy Awards, again, I used to so much enjoy seeing all the actors there, and they're all joking with each other, and they're roasting each other, and it was a celebration of all these movies from all over the world, and everyone had seen the movies. Now, I haven't even seen any of these movies, and by the way, yes, my tastes are pretty damn eclectic. I'm happy to see a lot, and these movies just have no mass appeal. So all they've done now is painted themselves into a corner, and the product that they're trying to sell is not a product that anyone wants to buy anymore. And I'm sorry, that's just a fact. Whether it's Disney or Marvel or Star Wars, all of them, all of the IPs that we grew up with, that we thought had a built-in audience. How can you go wrong with Star Wars? It comes with built-in nerds like me. How could you go wrong with Star Trek? Built-in audience. Well, they did, because they decided to mix their personal politics and views and ideologies. And again, they were always there from the beginning of time, but they decided to put those at the forefront of the movie rather than the most simple thing cavemen used to do, sit around a fire and tell a story. 'Twas the day that Korg came, and he brought a rock, and he gave it to Zorbos, and Zorbos took the rock. Okay? Campfire, telling about legends, and that has evolved into movies on the screen. The story was the main part, but now it's not about the story. It is about the message. That's in the front, the packaging. And look, I had to say all this before I got into the awards, the Academy Awards, because I'm trying to make you understand that I am passionate about movies and movie making, but not anymore, because something's lost. It's no longer movie making. It's no longer movie making for art's sake. And even if it were, by the way, even if the aim were to make money, which I'm fine with, Hollywood should return to that. Their aim used to be, we need to make money. We need to get butts in seats. Therefore, your movie has this message, the director has this vision, the writer has, that's fine, that's still in there, but we also need to think about making sure that the audience actually wants to come and put their money down. And by the way, that keeps getting more expensive, a movie and a drink and a popcorn, $30 later, you don't know where your money went. No one's going to spend their hard-earned money not to hear a good, well-rounded story, but just to be preached at. So frankly, it's not working. So on the night of nights, I don't want to watch anymore because I don't know what any of these movies are. And you're like, well, maybe they just don't appeal to you. They probably don't. They also don't appeal to about 500 million other people. They don't appeal to anyone. Okay, you're making art house movies, then keep it in the art house. But I'm going to be honest, if you're trying to make Hollywood dollars and keep these actors paid, this ain't going to work. You are on a bad trajectory, downward. And yeah, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek, all these had built-in audiences. And because someone came in and said, no, we have to make it like this template. It doesn't matter if the lore was this or this character was legendary like this, and we need to make sure to keep that historical idea of this character because this character is why they come to see these movies. No. Message first, everything else takes a back seat. And now they're all losing. So again, on the night of nights, they were always patting themselves in the back. Sure. They were all giving them the Hollywood hand job. Yes. But now it's just more annoying because they're still doing that. And I'm looking around and they're talking about movies that no one saw and that didn't make any money and no one gave a crap about. So they're patting themselves on the back now for putting out a bad product. So again, the Academy Awards were on and usually, it'd be like Titanic or Braveheart or Dances with Wolves or The Color Purple. By the way, all of these movies had very poignant messages about marginalized people and serious historical events in America. And you know what else they were? They were also good movies and popular. But how's that possible? How is it possible that Hollywood used to turn out movies that actually had a message, and they did because I got it? Tell me that The Color Purple or The Dances with Wolves or even Braveheart didn't have a message, because they did. And still, they were entertaining to the masses, enjoyable, memorable scenes talked about to this day, part of pop culture history forever. How's that possible? And they so can't get it right these days. So again, you see some of the old Hollywood stars. Again, I mostly just saw all the clips because I didn't really even want to watch it. But the clips were cringy enough. This was a bit sad. So Demi Moore was actually nominated, and I actually am very curious about seeing this movie. The movie's called The Substance. She didn't win. I'll get into that in a second, which is a bit sad because I feel like this was probably her last sort of chance. And I'm being perfectly honest here. This is where it gets, the rubber meets the road. I didn't create this superficial Hollywood perfect ideal of a woman that women in Hollywood have to live up to. It sucks. I know, I can imagine it sucks. Past a certain age, even today, even in today's super woke and understanding world, it's tough, and it is worse for women. Men get to be that grow old gracefully, or they can just be an old curmudgeon, and it sucks, but I didn't create it. Hollywood, you're the ones that created this yourselves, this decadent, superficial thing. And if you're mad at it, it's your own fault. And Demi Moore is a perfect example of someone who has been and is still a fantastic actress. And yes, look, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. She's a beautiful woman still. She's 62. But here's the thing that's ironic. The movie that she was nominated for, called The Substance is all about the pursuit of the superficial, to stay young and to look beautiful at all costs, even at your own, I think, soul or mental stability. Obviously, the movie is pretty dark, so it is literally all about the actual dark side of Hollywood. But Demi Moore herself, and I'm not having a go at her because it sucks when you have to live up to that. She herself, she has fallen victim to coming out, and she's got like big giant puffy cheeks and filler, and it's like, Someone was saying maybe it should not be Demi Moore, but Demi less, as in, you know what, there are plenty of women out there. Again, sometimes it just comes down to genetics. And I know I'm just a terrible man commenting on women's looks, but I'm saying you can grow old gracefully. You can not fight it so hard that it's artificial and chemical. And I don't care if you're the best plastic surgeon in the world. People get botched jobs all the time. And Demi Moore, again, sometimes when you see someone, and it's shocking, okay? It's shocking. When someone has had obvious plastic surgery, I'm sorry, there's just no hiding it, okay? Maybe you can get a little nip and a tuck, maybe get the crow's feet. But when you get giant puffy cheeks and your face is all rounded and you just can't move, even get a little Botox, but don't Botox so that your face is frozen. So Demi Moore, it is ironic, she has fallen victim to the same thing that this movie that she was nominated is about, called The Substance, and she didn't win, which is a bit sad because, again, I feel like, but because of her age, unless she gets that perfect role as the snarky grandma, I'm not sure what she's going to do, because that's not necessarily her shtick in Hollywood. But again, I do hope the best for her, or any actress who is aging in Hollywood, because it's a tough gig. It's the deck is stacked against you, and again, Hollywood, you created your own devil in doing this. But she lost out to apparently a movie that swept all the awards, called Honora, and it's about a sex worker. So that certainly appeals to the modern message these days. So it won Best Picture and Best Director. And look, again, I haven't seen it. I don't know anyone who has. I'm not going to judge it because I would never talk about a movie that I haven't seen. But I'm just saying it is interesting that this movie won out, and obviously Hollywood maybe it was looking too closely in the mirror when the movie The Substance it hit home a little too close to home. But yeah, that was a bit sad. Another very awkward, cringy moment. We saw Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey out on stage, and they were honoring the late great Quincy Jones, obviously talented beyond belief, and linked with the movie that I mentioned before, The Color Purple. And now anyone who hasn't seen it, I can't help you. Everyone's seen that movie. Anyway, it is a fantastic movie. But when I think about the movie, yes, I do know Oprah Winfrey was in that. But as much as Oprah has had sprinklings of being in movies, I still always think of Oprah as the queen of television. But Oprah, you got to watch her. She can be a little bit narcissistic. She does always make it all about her. And I'm sorry, this is apparent a lot of times, especially when she's around someone else. When she was on stage, she started talking about Quincy Jones, and she said, and I was discovered by him, and I was in that movie and being discovered for that movie. Now I'm going to be honest, Whoopi Goldberg won the award for that movie. Whoopi Goldberg, she was the main character in that movie. So when I think about The Color Purple, I do immediately think of Whoopi Goldberg, and Oprah was in it. A great part, Danny Glover too. But let's face it, it's Whoopi Goldberg's breakout role, and Whoopi Goldberg actually did kind of she stood back and said, oh yeah, you were in it, and me too. She did it kind of like a piss take, and I think she was a little bit offended by that. But that just goes to show you, even in Hollywood, they have little rivalries among themselves. And that was a full awkward moment between those two. And it also reminded me, I'm so tired of seeing Whoopi on The View, and that show in general is nauseating because, again, it only has one view, which is annoying. The show would be wonderful if it actually allowed other perspectives, but it doesn't. I'm not going to go into that. But, it reminded me that Whoopi Goldberg, damn it, she is an amazing actress, and I wish she would just get back into that or have stuck with that. I think, and not just roles like Ghost, but I remember when she was doing comedies and Jumping Jack Flash, movies like that. I'm just saying, she also has quite a talent to capture the audience and entertain them, and it doesn't always have to be about political discourse. If that's what she's into now, that's fine. But I hope she realizes the talent that she has, and I hope she's able to discover it again. That's all I'm saying. Like I say, Whoopi Goldberg annoys the crap out of me on The View, but people can have personal differences. But, I'm able to separate, the actress from her personal views. And that's, by the way, anybody in Hollywood. And it's getting harder and harder to do. This is what I'm talking about, because they're fusing so much, the political views, which, frankly, they may or may not even actually be that passionate about. I feel like they pick a thing and they stick with it. But it gets so mixed up, and people find it hard to separate the person's eccentric views from the actor on screen. You know what I mean? You're supposed to believe that they have taken that role. They become that person. And that's what's so amazing about actors. And look, Whoopi Goldberg, I think she's one of those. I think she should get back into that. They did a memoriam. It was quite sad. Obviously, we just lost Gene Hackman recently. That's massive. He is home in Santa Fe with his wife and his dog, still quite sad and strange. I hope nobody suffered, but yeah, Gene Hackman, just amazing presence on screen, and he was on my radar, but I tell you, this worries me because I feel like there's so many other actors and actresses that I'm just. As I get older, it's making me feel older because they're on my radar. Clint Eastwood, God love him. I hope he lives to be 120, but he's on my radar. Every time I see a Clint Eastwood tribute, I feel like, I check the news. So yeah, Gene Hackman was also getting up there. Again, 95. That is quite a life. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about the Academy Awards anymore. It really is just a show where they all come out and they preach to us and tell us how we're our little pointless lives and our little minds are just not competent enough to comprehend how we're all bad and ruining the planet, and everything we do is bad, and we need to listen to them no matter what the view is. And it's just getting old. I wish it could just go back to the days of entertainment again.